A man is not spiritualized because he reads books or because he studies with some famous teacher, even if that teacher is bona fide. He is not spiritual because he knows spiritual people, or because he recites a few platitudes morning and evening, or because he goes into the silence, or because he prays a formula, or because he chants Sanskrit, or because he pays dues to a metaphysical organization, or because he has been initiated into some mystical cult. He is only a spiritual person because year after year he lives a spiritualized, philosophical life. There is an old saying, common to the clergy, that the parishioners want to go to heaven on the coat-tails of the ministry, and there are a great many people who believe that their spiritual salvation is all worked out because they have joined an organization with advanced views, or because they believe in reincarnation and karma, or because they love animals. Some think they work out their eternal destiny with diet. Others strive to breathe their way into a divine state. Others use packages of appropriate herbs gathered by a Mahatma on the top of the Himalayas, sold at $1 a package to the believers. Religion is not a fancy process of mechanical exercises or affirmations. It is not something that you rub on. It is something that you live day by day. Religion is the improvement of the self by a constant course of self-discipline called the philosophic life. It is something to be lived, not talked about, something to be practiced, not affirmed. The great metaphysical systems of the past have descended to us in a fragmentary condition due to the centuries of theological blight that nearly destroyed classical philosophy. Pythagoras and Plato were metaphysicians. So were Buddha and Confucius, but their metaphysics has little in common with the popular brand. The school of Pythagoras produced over 150 great philosophers, men who conquered the physical life and rose sublimely above all of the limitations and illusions of the flesh. To begin with, metaphysics actually is not a popular belief. It is a system of thinking appropriate only to highly organized and highly trained minds. When the housewife wishes to become a metaphysician, she must realize that she is attempting a study that has taxed the capacity of the world's best organized intellects. She must approach her subject slowly, ready to give at least 5 or 10 years to foundation work before she attempts to launch her unprepared intellect upon the vast ocean of learning. Metaphysics is for thinking people, and when the thoughtless take it up, then comes the deluge. This may make the whole subject seem very difficult and impossible, and be a great discouragement to the optimistic, but it is far better that they be discouraged in the beginning than disillusioned later, after years of sincere and misspent effort. While the blind lead the blind in spiritual sciences, the great truths of nature appear only in distorted and unnatural forms. To study metaphysics in the hope of curing a stomachache, or of attaining cosmic consciousness, or increasing the income, is to be guilty of sacrilege, to say the least, or possibly better, absurdity and effrontery. It is worse than binding the gods to the millstone of greed. The trouble with modern metaphysics is that the majority of so-called metaphysicians have not the slightest idea as to either the subject or its scope. An appropriate simile is difficult. We might say that metaphysics is a vast structure, a noble temple, with its footing in the foundation of the universe, and the vast arch of heaven itself its only roof. The ages have sought for truth. Hundreds of millions have lived to achieve it, and millions have died for it. Heroes, martyrs, sages, saints and prophets, world saviours and demigods of forgotten ages are the priests of this great house. The gates of this sanctuary are to be approached only with reverence. The ancient road that leads to it is worn smooth with the footsteps of unaccounted multitudes, and the modern metaphysician of today is so incapable of perceiving even dimly the immensity and sanctity of this science that he confuses this divine program with a business men's cooperative luncheon club or a local clinic. The ancient wisdom offers nothing to a disciple of the great work but the opportunity to improve himself by a consistent program of intelligently directed effort. In the East, discipleship is a rigid discipline without reward or promise. No individual is ready for a religious or philosophical life while he has to be induced into the process of being good by promises of material reward. Wise men study philosophy, not so that they will remain young forever, but that they may grow old wisely. No man studies the ancient wisdom teachings with a view to increasing his personal wealth, because philosophy, if anything, will probably separate him from what he now has. Philosophy makes men rich, not in outward possessions, but in inward consciousness. Philosophy stores up treasures within, where thieves cannot steal, nor time corrupt.